So hello everyone, and welcome this morning. Thank you so much for being with me on this free webinar. This is all about Google certification for level 1 and level 2. So as we're going throughout, I'll be letting you know which parts I'm talking about for level 1 and which parts I'm talking about for level 2. But the cool thing is when it gets to the tips and tricks is really about both of them. So it really doesn't matter which one you're going to take. The tips and tricks will count for all of them. So we do have a sign-in at educatoralexander.com/sign-in. So you can get your CLU certificate. If you're watching this on a recording later, then you don't, of course, have to sign in. That's for the people who are here with us live. So my name is Desiree Alexander. On Twitter, I'm at Educator Alex. So if you're on Twitter, definitely follow me. I'll follow you back. And these resources for level 1 and level 2 can be found on my website. So if you go to educatoralexander.com, you can find the PowerPoint and resources that can help you pass Google level 1 and level 2. So I will send you the direct link in the email for those people who are with me live. But for anybody else, if you're watching the recording, it is on my website. If you go to presentations, tech tools, Google, you'll see level 1 and level 2 pop up. So who am I? I am the regional director of North Louisiana for a nonprofit called APAL in Louisiana. And I'm the founder CEO of Educator Alexander Consulting. And that just brings me all over the world doing this, training trainers, training teachers, training educators. When we're looking at Google, I am level 1 and level 2 certified. I am a Google certified trainer and Google innovator. I'm also Google Cloud certified in G Suite and a G Suite administrator. I have that certification as well. So I teach Google a lot. So definitely let me know if you are interested in learning more about Google or becoming certified, which is why you're here today, or anything like that. Definitely, I'm going to give you my contact information at the end, or you can find my contact information on my website. So definitely just let me know how I can help you in your Google journey, if you want to say that. So we're going to go ahead and jump in to the purpose of the exam for level 1 and level 2. Because people will ask me, well, why would I get the certification? What's the point? And I do want to say for my people, who are watching me live, if you have a question, just unmute yourself and ask. Or we also have the chat feature, so you can click on the chat box and you can type in there. I'll be looking at that as well as we go. So the purpose of the level 1 exam is really to just show that as an educator, you have the fundamental skills for implementing Google in the classroom. That's really what it shows. So if somebody sees that you have a level 1 certification, it's like, oh, okay, she knows Google, she knows how to use technology in the classroom. It looks really good on a resume. It shows people that that you know Google, that you're not afraid of technology in the classroom. So it's a really nice certification that shows that you have some skills. When we move to the level 2 exam, that is to indicate that you are deeper into Google, not that you just kind of know how to use it on the surface in the classroom, that you are integrating not just Google, but other tech tools in your classroom as well. So it just shows a deeper level of using technology and Google in the classroom. Now, if you want to become a certified trainer or an innovator, you do have to have level 2 certification. So it is a process. So if you're starting your journey with level 1 or you're continuing with level 2, it's really good if you plan on becoming a trainer or an innovator later. So how do we get certified? So for level 1, it is $10 to get certified. You do have to register at least 2 or more days before you actually want to take the test, because they are going to send you an email with your account information that they want you to actually test with. So if you have like a personal Gmail account, that's not the account you're going to test with. If you have a school account, that's not the account you're going to test with. So they're going to send you a username and password for you to go into that account and test, because the things that they want you to do, they've already set up for you. So if they tell you, go to your Google Drive and find the document named Cats and Dogs. Well, they've already put a doc in your Google Drive called Cats and Dogs. So they give you an account to use. So you want to register 2 or more days before to give Google time to send you that email. Honestly, most of the time you get the email within like an hour or a couple of hours, but just in case, you just never know when, you know, things may happen. So you want to give them time, try to register 2 or more days before. Now, I will say, I'm kind of skipping through this slide. When you do sign up, you have 7 days after they send you that email for you to take the test. So if you're thinking, well, I'm gonna go ahead and register today and take it next month. No. Once you get that email saying, here's your username and password, you have 7 days to take the test after that. So definitely keep that in mind. If I want to take it this week, I may register today. So if you don't register, if you don't take the test within those 7 days, then you just, donated $10 to Google. So keep that in mind. So when looking at the testing, this is just for level 1, it's $10. It is a 3-hour test. So there's no pauses. You can't, pause and go eat, or pause and take your dog to the park, whatever. It's 180 minutes, it's 3 hours, 1 sitting. So you want to think about that and give yourself time, give yourself space, go into a quiet area that you can really concentrate on the test, because it does take a lot of brain power to take this test. So you want to go to a quiet area, make sure you're there for the whole 3 hours. Don't schedule a doctor's appointment in 2.5 hours, because you may take every single minute of the time. Most people, especially their first time taking the test, take every single second of the time. The reason why people fail this test the most is because they run out of time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a second. So you do need a webcam. A webcam will be taking pictures throughout the session. So when you first log in to take the exam, it's going to tell you to take a picture. And it's going to tell you that that picture will be on your certificate. It won't be on your certificate. I don't know where that picture goes. Maybe it's a certificate that Google has. I don't know. So just keep that in mind. If you're like getting up and you have curlers in your hair and you're like, I'm going to take the test, that it will take a picture of you. And then you're going to have to leave the webcam on throughout the test. So we're going to talk about the devices that are good for taking the test in a second. The certification is valid for 3 years. So after that 3 years, they will tell you, hey, your certification is about to expire. You need to renew it. When you go to renew the test, it's the same price. It will still be the $10 unless they change the price by then. And I'm going to go through what types of questions are on the test in a second. So when you renew the test, you don't have all of the test questions that you have the first time. So it is a little bit less time to renew than to take it, the first time. And they will have you sign an NDA, which is a non-disclosure agreement. So all that's saying is you won't write down the test questions and put them online. You won't talk about the test. So just like any kind of standardized test is a non-disclosure agreement to say that you're not going to share the test questions. So if you are ready for level 2 of the test, it's $25 for level 2. Everything else is the same with how you register, but it is $25 for level 2, $10 for level 1. So you notice there is a cost for recertification. It is the exact same cost, $10 and $25 after those 3 years. So every 3 years you're paying that cost for recertification. Very good question. You see these links on this slide and on the slide that was previous. You will notice, if I can get, okay, there we go. And this slide, these are the links to the fundamentals course and the advanced course in Google. So Google gives you a course that you can take completely for free, and it'll tell you, what's on the test. It goes through the information. Some people go through the course, they're fine, they're happy, everything's fine. Some people find the course dense. This is a lot of words, it's a lot of information in the courses. So some people like to, pay money and go to a live class, or pay money and go into an online class. And usually those classes are very hands-on, and they just show you this is what you need to take the test. So it's less like information and reading and things like that. It's more just hands-on. This is what you need to take the test. I do have an online course for level 1. Level 2's online course will be done as soon as I can get time to do it. But level 1's course is online. And what I'll do for my people that are joining me live, as long as you sign up as long as you sign in, I'm going to go ahead and send you a coupon code for that online course. So if you want to take it, it will not be, I think it's maybe $105. So it won't be that for you, because I'll send you a coupon code. So there you go. The perks of coming live. But you do have to make sure that you sign in so I can know that you were here. And I will give you that sign in link at the end again. So some information about the exam itself. I already told you that they'll send you an account to use. When they do send you the account or the email, they have a list of instructions. Please read carefully and make sure that you're following the instructions that they give you. So one of the instructions that they give you is to use an incognito window. And if you don't know what that is, at the end of this, I can kind of show you that. If you don't know what it is, just remind me, just like, type in the chat box or come on the mic, say, show us the incognito window. But you do use an incognito window because an incognito window does not hold cookies and cache. It's kind of a fresh Google Chrome for you. And of course, you're going to be using Google Chrome. So you're going to open up the incognito window and then go to Google and then sign in. It also tells you to sign out of all of your other accounts. So follow the directions. Some people say, well, if I sign out of the account, I can't see the email. Well, take a picture of the email or write the username and password down if you want to. It's not that big of a deal. But they do tell you to sign out of all of your accounts and to go into the new account using an incognito window. This is an open book test. Woo! You can use notes. You can use the internet. I like to tell people you can use anything you want to except another person. So there you go. The flip side of that is why so many people fail, because they're not ready to take the test and they're looking up every single thing. So for example, if I told you, open up a Google form, add 5 questions, get the results of the Google form and email those results to Juan Carlos. And you start typing in, how do I create a Google form? How do I add questions? You're not ready for this test. Okay, so if you're looking up every single step, there's no way you're gonna finish in 3 hours. So you wanna keep that in mind. This test is really for people who are already using Google. You may not be using every single tool that I'm about to show you. I'm gonna show you the tools you need to study for the test, but you should be using Google. So just keep that in mind. You do have 2 sections, and this is for level 1 and level 2. You have 2 sections for the test, questions and scenarios. So we're gonna talk about that in a second. You must use the latest version of Chrome and have a webcam. We talked about that. If you don't know how to see if you have the latest version of Chrome, you can remind me of that at the end, and I'll show you that as well. So when you do pass, because you're going to pass, you get a level 1 or level 2 badge that you can display on anything that you want to display it on, and use it up, use it wherever some people put it in their email signature, put it wherever you want to put it, and then retake. So if by chance you don't pass the first time, if you fail it once, you have to wait 14 days to take it again. If you fail the second time, you have to wait 2 months, 60 days to take it again. And then if you fail 3 times, you have to wait a whole year to take it again. So definitely keep that in mind. This is not a test. Google doesn't want you just kind of like blah, taking the test every day. Like, they don't want that kind of thing to happen. If you fail it, you do have to pay again. So every time you take it, for level 1, you have to pay $10. For level 2, you have to pay $25. So definitely keep that in mind. I'm going to stop here. Do we have any questions? You can either come on your mic or you can put it in the chat box. And I'm going to dance. Okay. So if you are typing in the chat box right now, just keep on typing. I get a notification once you press enter, so I can stop and answer the question at any time. So I already told you about the fundamentals course, so you have the link to it here. The fundamentals course, that's the very free course that Google offers you for level 1. And it goes through engagement and professional growth and leadership, increasing efficiency and saving time, and facilitating inspired student learning and creativity. What I suggest for you is to go through unit 1 and 13. So if you're going to like take a course or something like that, I do suggest still going through 1 and 13, because what 1 and 13 offers you are things about using digital citizenship and using technology in the classroom outside of Google. So definitely just take a peek. You know, you don't have to dive through the whole thing, but take a peek at unit 1 and unit 13. And I also suggest going through the unit reviews. So those are the little like quiz yourself test at the end of every section. So if you go through those, it'll kind of let you know, okay, I didn't need to go through this section because I can answer all the questions at the end, if that makes sense. Katia Blunt, who's also a certified innovator, and I met her at the Innovator Academy. Yay, Katia. She created a document that helps with the fundamentals course, and I asked her if I could share it when I teach my level 1 class. So this link is a really nice link if you do want to go through the free fundamentals course to help you navigate it just a little bit better. It's a really nice resource, and we all thank Katia for that. The advanced course is for level 2. So if you're ready for level 2, you're going to go to the advanced course. You may think, oh, I'm just going to go through the fundamentals course again, but no, you actually have a different course for level 2 because level 2 goes through different things, and I'll tell you exactly what it goes through in a second. But if you notice, level 2 pretty much goes through the 3 almost the same broad topics: professional growth and leadership, efficiency, and saving time. And then the third one is just a little bit different: facilitate and inspire student learning and creativity. So for level 2, I still suggest doing the unit reviews at the end of every session. Once you get to level 2, you kind of know how the test is formatted and things like that. So I do suggest doing those unit reviews. I will tell you for my level 2 people that the thing that shocks level 2 people is I call them the miscellaneous tools that Google puts on there. Tools that you may not even know Google have. And you're like, wait, what is this? And it shocks people. And I think that's the biggest reason people fail level 2 is that they're shocked by the new stuff that's on the test. And again, I will tell you exactly what tools to cover in a second. So let's go through the types of questions on the test, and this is good for level 1 and level 2. So if you've already taken level 1, level 2 has the exact same format. So in the beginning of the test, you're going to have multiple choice, true, false, and drag and drop. You're going to have about 20 to 25 of those mixed together. So number 1 may be true and false, number 2 may be multiple choice. So if we look at the question that's on the screen, this is an example of one. So notice it, and it comes straight from Google's examples. So notice it gives you an objective. The objective is to use technology to move beyond textbook-based instruction. And then it gives you the question. Students in your history class are having difficulty understanding the significance of World War II. Very, very good timing for this sample question. What activities could help students get more engaged? Choose 2 answers. So you see how I highlighted choose 2 answers, guys? This test is famous for telling you to choose a certain amount of answers. Please follow the directions and please read carefully. I tell people this is not a skimming test. Okay, this is not a test where you just kind of breeze over the words and move on. You want to read every word, make sure you're understanding the question and that you're following the directions. So if it says choose 3 answers, you choose 3. The next one says choose 6, you choose 6. So just make sure that you are paying attention to how many they're asking you to choose. Don't assume that all of them are going to say choose 2. Okay. So if we look at these answers, somebody get on your mic or on the chat box and tell me which 2 do you think are the answers? Okay, I see A and C. Another A and C. All right, and y'all are right, A and C. So if you look at A and C, they both start with the word students. They're both student-driven. A, students create YouTube videos describing the key battles of World War II. C, students use the Explore tool to search for more information. If you look at B, the teacher creates a final exam to give students a grade on what they know. That is not an activity that's going to help students get engaged. That's an assessment. And if you look at D, looking at the questions at the end of the chapter, that's going completely in the face of the objective, which is using technology to move beyond textbook-based instruction. So very, very good. Let's move on. So drag and drop / matching is another type of question type that you're going to have within that 20 to 25. So it will look something like this. So notice it's asking you to drag and drop to match the feature of Gmail to the benefit of using the tool. So pretty much, do you know what these tools do in Gmail? So canned responses, anytime, anywhere, access labels. And then you'll have a benefit of canned responses, a benefit of labels. And you just have to drag and drop to say which one of that goes with canned responses. So if this is the point that you're like, what's a canned response? Well, that's something that's definitely going to be on the test. So you either need to look that up, see how to do it, or go to the fundamentals class or enroll in a class. So this is the nitty-gritty of the test, the scenarios. So you're going to have 12 of these, and you may go, well, 12 versus 25? No, this is what takes all your time, okay? So you have 12 scenario-based questions where they tell you to do stuff. So with the scenario questions, they don't tell you to do just things with certain topics. What do I mean by that? So you may have number 1 that have you using Google Forms, Google Docs, Gmail, and YouTube all in that one scenario. So it's not like this is the forms question, this is the docs question, this is the sheets question. It's all mixed in together because they want to see, do you know how to really truly use this stuff in the classroom and as an educator? This is an educator specific test. So for example, if you look at this objective, access, view, and understand results in spreadsheets. Your students have answered a few questions about an upcoming presidential election and submitted their results in a Google form. Woo-hoo. You want to review their opinions to prepare for an upcoming class. These are the steps that they actually want you to take. Number 1, access the form election opinions and view the results in a spreadsheet. So, and I'm gonna kind of talk about this now and later, but access the form, label this, and view the results in a spreadsheet. That's telling you to do multiple things just in step 1. So if you notice, it didn't tell you where to access the form. They're expecting you to know. So when I go to the tips, that's one of my first tips is they don't always give you step-by-step directions, because that's the whole point of the test, is to see, do you know where Google Forms live once you create them? So of course, the answer to that would be go to Google Drive. So I'm going to go to my Google Drive and then click on election opinions because that's where my Google Forms live. or I'm going to go to forms.google.com and see all my forms and click it. So there you go. So access the form and then view the results in your spreadsheet. So if you click on Google Forms, you know where to find it, but you don't know how to click that little green button to get your spreadsheet results, then now that's something that you're looking up and you're spending time looking that up. Sort the sheet based on student first name in ascending alphabetical order. Either now we've gone from Google Drive possibly to Google Forms. Now we're going to Google Sheets, and now we have to sort the sheet. So notice that we have multiple steps within those 2 steps, and we have multiple Google tools. Create a pie chart that represents who they selected as their favorite candidate from column F. So again, it started as a forms question, and it quickly turned into a sheets question. So keep that in mind. Another one, the objective is to enhance and share videos. You want to be sure that students are able to view your award winners broadcast at a later date. You decide to share the video again via your YouTube channel to maximize views. Follow the following task. I hate reading to you guys, but we're a webinar, so I have to. So 1, find the award winners video on your YouTube channel. Okay. How do I go to a YouTube channel? How do I go to my channel in a YouTube channel? How do I find my videos on a YouTube channel? So that's all the skills in number 1. 2, add a poll with the following question. What should we tackle? Okay, how do I get to edit the video in YouTube? How do I add a poll question in YouTube? What should we tackle next is the poll question, and then provide your own answers. So now I just make up, what should we tackle next? Whatever, Google Forms, Google Sheets, Google Slides. That's my own answers. And then share the video with your students. So now I have to know how to share a video from YouTube. And this example just says your students, but they're going to tell you, share the video with Juan Carlos, Samantha Smith, and Martina Martinez. So they're going to tell you exactly who to share it with, because remember, they have already set up your account for you, and they have already added all those people to it. Tips and tricks. So first thing you want to decide before you start taking the test, and if you have any questions, guys, remember to just chime on in. First thing you want to decide is what account to use to register for the test. I suggest using your personal account versus using your school account. Because when you register for the test, that's where you're going to go to start the test. That's where your scores are going to live. And that's the account that's going to email you in 3 years saying it's time for you to renew. If you use a school account, and let's say you leave that school district, or your district changes the domain, like at educatoralexander.com, they change that to at educatoralex.com. Anything that happens like that, you're going to have to retake the test all over again from scratch instead of taking the retake test. And now that you know about the test questions, the retake test only has scenarios. It doesn't have the multiple choice, the drop down, the drag and drop, and the true and false. So it really does save you time, because that's like 25 questions gone when you need to renew it. So I strongly suggest the account you use when you register for the test to be your personal account, but it's completely up to you. What device to use? Again, this is one that's up to you, but I suggest using a laptop, a Chromebook, or a desktop, or a Mac, just kind of your standard devices. I don't even think you can use an iPad. I mean, you can Drive. I don't think there's well, maybe I don't think you use iPad, but that's up to you. But I strongly suggest using a laptop, a Chromebook, a desktop, or a Mac. I like to use just a regular Chromebook. I'm sorry, just a regular laptop. Remember, if you use a desktop, that you're going to have that webcam. So a lot of desktops don't have webcams, so you'll just have to get like maybe an external webcam. So just keep that in mind. Do you want to use one device or two? So I have some people who like to use this device for the test, and then I'll have my Chromebook over here so I can look stuff up. Other people will just use multiple windows. Really up to you. There's no better way to do it. But what I don't want you to do is start the test and then go, it'd be really cool if I had my Chromebook. Let me go get it. And then you're spending 20 minutes plugging in your Chromebook, getting it set up. So decide on that kind of stuff before you use it. Have your favorite Google resources open and ready to go. I'm going to talk about pinging a tab in a second. And if you don't know how to do that, that's something else I can show you right at the end. I don't mind at all. So have your favorite Google resources open. I am going to give you some links in a second to some resources that can be helpful for you to use while you're testing. If we're talking about pinging tabs, so when you ping a tab, it takes the tab and bring it all the way to the left, and it makes it to where there's no X in the tab, because if you're anything like me, you're clicking those X's by mistake all the time and getting out of your tabs that you really want to use. So if you ping a tab to the corner, it keeps that tab safe. Also, if you get rid of Chrome altogether, so if you mistakenly close Chrome and you bring it back up, those pin tabs will still be there. So it's just a nice way to keep your stuff safe. So the two tabs that I strongly suggest you pinging, and again, if you're like, how do I do that? I can show you. It takes 2 seconds at the end. Just remind me. Or tell me you want me to show you. Is to pin the question tab. So that's the tab where all your questions are going to come up. That's also the tab where your webcam, your picture is always there, and they tell you always leave this tab open. So I suggest pinging that one and going to your Google Drive and pinging it, because of course we know Google Drive is the granddaddy, and you can get to a lot of different Google tools through Google Drive. And they're going to constantly be singing you, like, open up this doc in Google Drive, open up this sheet in Google Drive. So pinging that will save you some time later. Know your keyboard shortcuts. They can definitely help you on this test. And I'll talk about copying and pasting and how much that's going to be your lifeline a little bit later. So Control-C is copy, Control-V is paste. They will be your best friend. Control-C, Control-V, Control-C, Control-V. Control-A is select all. So if they tell you to do something like with everything on the page, you can just hit Control-A and then Control-C. So you don't have to like use your mouse or use your keypad to, you know, try to highlight everything. Control-A, Control-C, I'm ready to go. Control-Z is your undo button. Control-Z is your best friend for life, like BFFs forever. I guess BFF is forever, but you get my point. So Control-Z is undo. So if you do something and you're like, no, I didn't want to delete that, hit Control-Z. It will be your best friend. So we already talked about making sure that you get a quiet space for the whole 3 hours. Don't play with that. Practice by clicking. What I mean by that is sometimes I'll do a level 1 class, and and on a Mac, Inky is our Mac person, and she says it's the command key instead of the control key on a Mac. Thank you, Inky, because I never think about Macs at all. On that commercial, I'm definitely like the PC guy, not the cool Mac guy. So thank you, Inky. Is command key instead of control on a Mac. So practice by clicking. What I mean by that is sometimes people come to my class and like they're so revved up at the end, they're like, I'm gonna go take the test today. And I'm like, okay, calm down and practice by clicking. Like go, because of course you're pumped up now. You just learned everything. You're excited. But practice by clicking. Go home and click on stuff. You know, ask yourself, wait, what did she say to click on? Okay, I need to click here. Get comfortable clicking around the screen and then go take the test. So practice by clicking. Know your little tips and tricks on the screen. Like if you see Google at the top, or if you see Drive at the top or Sheets at the top, you can just go click that to go back to your home page. The hot dogs, the hamburger, the gear, the Rubik's Cube, you know that the hot dogs always have settings underneath it. So if they tell you to change a setting and you're like, I don't see it on the screen, and you see some hot dogs, click on those hot dogs. Something is under there. Same thing with the hamburger. The hamburger always brings down a menu. So if you're like, I don't know, I don't see, and you see hamburger, 3 lines, click it. The gear is also always settings. There's always some type of settings under there, so click the gear. The waffle or the Rubik's Cube, brings you to other Google tools quickly. So instead of typing in Gmail, I just click that and go to Gmail. Now, the thing with the Rubik's Cube and the waffle that I like to warn people against is do what you're used to doing. So honestly, if you're used to just typing in Gmail to Google it and clicking Gmail, then keep doing that. This is not the time like, oh, I'm gonna start trying to use the waffle, and it takes you, 3 seconds longer than if you just did it the way you're used to doing it. So if you're used to Googling everything, keep Googling everything. You're fine. You want to go through things as fast as you can, because something on that test is going to punch you in the gut. Even if you're a lifelong Google user, something is going to be like, I forgot how to do that. And you're going to have to go look it up. Or I didn't know I could do that. And you're going to have to go look it up. So something on that test will make you stop for a second. So you do want to, if it's something that you can save time doing, you want to save time doing it. So we already talked about the step-by-step thing. So for example, if the test says create a folder, and of course you need to go to Google Drive to create folders. So it's that kind of thing, because even if you're like, well, Gmail, you can create folders, you can't. You create labels in Gmail. So if they say create a folder, they mean you're going to Google Drive. You cannot go back to a previous question. So if they give you number 11A and number 11B, you can go back to 11A. Okay, hopefully that made sense. So if they give you 11A, then it's 11B, you can go back to 11A, but you cannot go back to 10. So if it's 11 and then 12, once you hit 12, you cannot go back to 11. However, at the very end of the test, they give you a review screen. And at that review screen, you can click on all of the questions. So what I suggest is to have some kind of paper or like Post-it pad there with you. So if you did number 9 and you mistakenly went on to number 10 and you're like, no, then just write down number 9. So when you get to that review screen, you don't have to like click around to find it. You know, I have to go look at number 9. And the reason why I tell you to do that is not just to save time or to, not click around, is because sometimes when you get to that review screen, you only have seconds left and you're like, oh, so it helps you just like get to that question quickly and try to finish it or whatever. Vocabulary. All right. So on the test, if you're anal like I am and you expect everything to be, this is a glitchy test. It's not, it's much better than the old test. Much better than the old test they used to have, but it still has some glitches. So I'm just warning you about that ahead of time. Some people even get a glitch in the whole test. They go to turn it in and something happens. I'm going to give you the link to contact Google when something happens with your test. Every time I'm giving a test to a whole group, inevitably somebody has a problem with something. So it happens. It is a very glitchy test. So one of the glitches is vocabulary. So for example, in Google Forms, they'll tell you create a text question. And you're like, there is no question type called text, but there is one that's called paragraph or short answer. So that's what they're talking about when they say a text question. They mean either short answer or paragraph. In Calendar, they'll tell you to do a pop-up notification. And you're like, the only notifications I can do are email and, what is it called? Email notification and whatever the other one is called. What is it called? If somebody knows, put it in the chat box or come on the mic. I can't remember. But there is no notification called pop-up. However, the one that I can't think about pops up on your screen. So that's what they're talking about when they say pop-up. They mean the one that actually pops up. It's not called pop-up, but that's what they're talking about. So some of the verbiage on the test, you have to think about for a second and go, well, that's not what that's called, but I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. Another glitch that I found is in Google Classroom. And this one freaks people out a lot because you'll go to the Google Classroom question and they'll say, create a classroom. Well, you go and you hit the plus sign and all it says is join, like you're a student. If that happens, give it a couple of seconds. You can refresh your screen hit the plus sign again, see if it comes up to create. Sometimes it takes so long to come up that you actually have to just write down that question and skip it. And then when you come back to the review screen, go back to it. I've never had it when you went back to it that it didn't come up and let you finish the question. But I'm just warning you now, don't sit there for 15 minutes waiting for that Google Classroom question to populate. Just write the question number down. Like, sit there for a couple of seconds, refresh. You know, it may pop up pretty quickly. But if it doesn't, move on. Write the question number down, move on, come back to it at the end, and then go ahead and do the question. The account that they send you is a brand new account. So if you can remember back to when you first started using Google, how those pop-ups will come up to help you. So like the first time you went to Google Calendar, a pop-up came up and said, hey, these are the new features of Google Calendar. Or when you first went to Google Groups, a pop-up would pop up and say, hey, do you need help with Google Groups? So you're going to be getting those pop-ups because you have a brand new account. So don't let that freak you out. Just exit off the pop-ups and move on. If you do another glitch, if you do something and they tell you to type something, you type it, you look at the screen and nothing's there. And you're like, I know doggone well, I'll just type that. Refresh your screen. Refreshing your screen will be your best friend. If you don't know how to refresh in Chrome, let me know. I'll show you that at the end. But refresh your screen, just write it down in a Post-it and put it somewhere because something's going to freak you out. You're going to be like, why didn't I show up? Or why did it? And if I was there with you, the first thing I'll say is, did you refresh your screen? Because that's always, it's just a lifesaver. So if you type something is not there, if something happens and it's weird, refresh your screen. That fixes it. At the end, the verification screen. So when you're done, you're going to get to the review screen at the end, and then it's going to say, are you ready to submit? You're going to be like, and you're going to hit submit, and then it's going to be a verification screen. So it's going to say, we are verifying your scores. 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 So it's going to sit there for a while. Sometimes it's longer than others, so just keep that in mind. Now, you may get, after a while, you may get an error message, or you may get a little box that pops up that says, do you want to reload this page? And you're like, no! Usually, once you get that error message or the reload box, they have already sent you your scores. So what I usually tell people is just to leave that screen up with the little box. And if you just have to click OK, click OK. It's really not a big deal. Go to your email. They have already emailed you your scores. You do get pass or fail that day. I mean, that like instant, hopefully, unless it messes up, then you have to email them. But they do respond really quickly when you email them, when you do the form that I'm going to give you. You're either going to get you've passed, yay, and it doesn't give you any feedback, or it's going to get you failed, you've made a 77, because you have to make an 80 or above. There's no way to tell what makes an 80, but you have to make an 80 or above. So it'll say you made a 77, and these are the 3 things you want to look at. So it gives you, it doesn't say like specifically you failed this part of Google Forms, but it'll say something like, you want to look at when you're using Google Slides, how to be creative or something like, so then you know you messed up on Google Slides, like that kind of stuff. So you're either going to you're going to open the email, it's going to say click here to get your scores, you click there, and then hopefully your scores come up just fine, and hopefully you have passed. We've already talked about the please select to, so I'm going to skip that. We already talked about that on the other screen. So 2 or 3 things to really think about. 1 is to follow the directions. The people that mess up on directions the most are my Googly people. My people that know Google, my people that are used to Google. They're confident when they're taking the test. They don't follow directions. So they tell you to open up a Google slideshow, add 5 slides to it, and put this information on each slide. So you're like, okay, I'm gonna open up the Google slideshow. I'm gonna pick my favorite theme. Nobody told you to pick a theme. Follow directions. Do what they tell you to do. Because remember, a computer is grading this test. So if the computer is looking for a certain path that it told you to follow and you follow an extra, it's going to fail you. So do what they tell you to do. If they don't tell you to pick a theme, don't pick a theme. If they tell you to go into settings and do something and you're like, oh, I wonder if I should click that button. Oh, I wonder if I should unclick that button. If they don't tell you to do anything with that button, leave the button alone. So it's one of those things where we worry about stuff that we shouldn't be. So just keep that in mind. If they don't tell you to do it, do not do it. If they don't tell you to click that button, don't click it. If they don't tell you to unclick it, don't unclick it. Leave it alone. Just do what they tell you to do. Okay? Copy and paste. I told you I was going to tell you about this a little later. Copy and paste is your best friend because if you spell something wrong, it is wrong. So if the test tells you, open up a Google Doc and name it grandmother's videos. Grandmother apostrophe S videos S. And you name it grandmothers without the apostrophe S, it's wrong. If you name it grandmother apostrophe S video without the S, is wrong. So it has to be exactly what they told you to do. So that's where a copy and paste would be your best friend. So if it's a question and it tells you to name it blah, 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 copy blah, 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 and paste blah, blah, blah. That way you know you have exactly what it had on that test to name it. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. And we already talked about do not do it unless you're asked to do it. So I went through that in the follow the directions. It is good. Now we're going to go through like what do you need to know for the test. It is good for you to know the different Google tools, not for the scenarios, but yes, for the multiple choice. So it's good for you to know what Google Vote is. Because if you don't know what Google Vote is, and it's one of the answer choices, it may slip you up. So this is a good link. This little link that you see right here. I don't know if you can see my mouse or not, but this little link you can see right here. That's really good, and you can get to it on my website. And I can show you exactly where to go to if you need to. Again, just let me know at the end. But this little link is really good to go and just see what the different tools are. So if you have Jamboard on one of your answer choices and you're like, what is Jamboard? You should know. So you don't need to know how to use it, but you need to know that there's something for Google called Jamboard, and Jamboard is a whiteboard. So that kind of thing. So you want to know the different Google tools. And then for level 1, so everything we've been going through for level 1 and 2. Okay, but for level 1, these are the topics you need to know for this test. So you need to know Google Chrome, Drive, Docs, Sheets, Slides, Forms, Classroom, Gmail, Hangouts, Calendar, Sites, Groups, and I can't even see what's under there because my little toolbar is, I can't see, whatever it says under there. So there you go. So that's what you need to know for Google level 1. For level 2, I really want to know what's under there. Calendar? No, calendars are there. Okay, whatever. So for level 2, you need to know Google Plus, even though you may say, well, Google Plus is, no longer being used by Google. It's still on the test until they update it. So Google Plus, you go deeper into Chrome, Gmail, Calendar, Sheets, Slides, Forms, YouTube, Docs, then Sites, Drive, Classroom, and then you need to know Blogger. So if you've never heard of Blogger, it was YouTube. Thank you, Dewana. I was like, what is that? So if you've never played with Blogger, that will be brand new to you, but you do need to know how to set up your blog and create and start your blog. You also need to know some of the miscellaneous tools, and I'll definitely, we have time, so I'll definitely go through the miscellaneous tools that you need to know. And then you need to know about project-based learning and those 3 things at the blended learning. Just what are they? Because it's one of your multiple choice questions. So you need to know the difference between blended learning, project-based learning, and whatever the third one is down there. And I'm sure there's a way. Oh, there you go, to move this. Okay, there we go. Flipped blended learning and project-based learning. I learned how to move my toolbar. Yay me. Okay. So these are the resources. I told you I was going to give you some resources that you can use while you're taking the test. So these are some really good resources. Some of them are like cheat sheets. Some of them are, they're all resources from Google. So for example, the screen may come up that has all of the tools. So if I'm using Gmail and I have a question about Gmail, I can just click Gmail and look for that answer. So really good links that you can use. This is Learn by Product and Cheat Sheet, and then Problems with the Exam. So if you do have a problem with the exam, this is the place that you come, you fill out the form, you send it off, and then hopefully within the hour, they will respond to you and tell you, yes, you've passed, we see it, but you don't see it. We'll send you your certificate and your logo a little later. Or sometimes you get the heartbreaking email back that says something went wrong. We will give you a voucher, but you have to take it again. So I'm just warning you now that if something does happen, sometimes that's the response. Like, we'll give you a $10 voucher, or we'll give you the $25 voucher for you to take it again. So I am going to give you an evaluation, but before I go through this, I just want to show you the free resources that I give you online. And that's my contact, but before that. So for level 1, the free resource I give you online is the PowerPoint for level 1 and the PowerPoint for level 2. And then for my level 1 class that you pay for, I actually have videos going through all of these things, showing you exactly what to do for the test. So for example, Google Chrome, notice it lists for you, these are the exact things you need to know about Google Chrome that they can ask you on the test. These are the exact things you need to know for Google Drive that they're going to ask you on the test, that they could ask you on the test. So this is completely for free. I'll send you the link if you went ahead and signed in, and I'll give you that link again. But if you signed in, I'm going to send you the link to get these PowerPoints. So you see that it shows you very clearly what you need to know for each one. And then if we go to level 2, same thing. So notice it's advanced search, advanced image search. So some of the more advanced stuff that you can do with this. When we get to miscellaneous tools for level 2 is Google Maps, Google My Maps, Google Lit Trip, Google Earth. And it's not going to tell you to go and do something with Google Earth, but Google Earth will, like the features, which you see that's hyperlinked, the features for Google Earth will be on the multiple choice. Tour Builder, Google Scholar, they will tell you to go and use Google GL. Even though they don't support it anymore, it is still a product. Google Trends, Hangouts versus YouTube Live. So what's the difference between those? So definitely know. Yeah, okay. Let me go back one. Google Books. Okay, I'm like, I know I'm missing one. Google Books, they will actually tell you to go to Google Books and do stuff. So these are the miscellaneous ones that kind of trip people up that you need to know how to work on level 2. So like level 2, you have pivot tables that you don't have on level 1. So for level 2, you need to know everything you knew for level 1 plus these things. So there you go. I'm just kind of clicking through them. Google add-ons is so flipped learning, the definitions for these two, so you can choose which one does what. So going back, so this is completely free on my website, this PowerPoint that shows you. So if you just want to look at this and go, okay, I know how to do these 5 things, but I need to learn how to do these 3 things, you are welcome to do that completely for free. So we are at the end of the session. If you can go and put in a comment on my website, I'm also going to send you this through the email for the people who are here live. And it's just educatoralexander.com/comments with an S. If you're already on the website, just click on comments. You can either leave a video comment or a written comment. Also, remember to follow me on Twitter, and I'll make sure to follow you back. My contact information is also on my website. The materials on my website. Everything's on my website. But what I want to do is I want to quickly go back. So educatoralexander.com/ this is the sign-in. So if anybody came in late, which I think we had all 7 people when we started, but if anybody came in late, this is the link to sign in. If you sign in, please make sure you put the correct email address, because this is where I'm going to send your CLU certificate. This is where I'm going to send the links to everything. This is where I'm going to send your coupon code. I'm going to say you're going to have everything by Monday morning. Just because I'm about to teach a live class in an hour. You may get it in an hour, honestly, but you'll definitely have it by Monday morning. So make sure that you sign in. Please put a comment on the website, educatoralexander.com/comments with an S. And we are officially done with the class. If anybody needed me, and it's like we have like 3 minutes, so you definitely have time to go ahead and do your comment. If anybody needed me to show you anything that I said, remind me at the end. So that was how to do an incognito window, how to ping a tab, how to find the stuff on the website, whatever else I may have said that if you needed me to show you at the end. This is a great time for you to let me know. You can either take your mic and let me know. You're very welcome, Wizanga. Thank you so much. You can get on your mic and just say, hey, Desiree, show us this, or you are welcome to leave. We are done with the webinar. So make sure you sign in. Please go ahead and do a comment to, that's all I ask for these free webinars, is a comment on my website. And we're done. So if you have any questions, let me know. If you want me to show you something, let me know. You're very welcome, Sheila. Oh, yay. Thank you, Shaquela. I appreciate it. I'm glad it was informative. That's the whole point. And our next one is on classroom management. So you could definitely look on my website under upcoming events. I know it's July 20 something, but it's 2 hours, and it's on classroom management and beyond. So before you get back to the school year, you can learn more about classroom management. Oh, yay, Catherine, I'm glad. Start studying. And like I said, you're gonna get, you can completely study for free, guys. I mean, I know I made a class you can pay for, but you can do this yourself for free. But sometimes people just don't have time, to look through everything. So if you did want to enroll in my class, just don't enroll in it until you get the coupon code. Okay. So yeah, don't enroll until you get the coupon code. Unless you just want to pay full price. I mean, if you just, it's like, I don't want to pay full price, Desiree, then go right ahead. But you are going to get a coupon code that I'll send you. Okay, so we are done. If you have any questions, I'm just kind of hanging on the line for questions. I think I'll shut it down. It's noon right now, so if I don't have any questions, you can hop on your mic. Okay, we have 4 people left in the room. If you have a question, you can hop on the mic. 3 people left in the room. If you have any questions, you can hop on the mic or type it in. Make sure you sign in. Make sure you do a comment. educatoralexander.com/comments. We have 2 people in the room. I think I'm one of them. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the room. If you have any questions, even if you just wanna type hold on, I'll wait. All right, y'all have my contact information, and y'all have a good day.